A mother hums softly to her crying baby. The baby calms, almost instantly. But what if that simple hum was activating the most powerful nerve in the human body? A nerve connected to your heart, your lungs, your digestion, your mood, your ability to recover from stress. A nerve pathway lighting up, stress hormones dropping, blood vessels relaxing. A molecule called nitric oxide, increasing by 1,500%. All from the simple act of humming. Today, we go inside that moment and find out exactly what's happening. Part 1. What is frequency? Everything you have ever seen, everything you have ever heard, everything you have ever felt is vibration. Right now, light waves are bouncing off every surface around you, entering your eyes, and being converted into electrical signals. Your brain reconstructs those signals into the image you think you're seeing. You are not seeing reality directly. You are seeing your brain's interpretation of wave data. The color red you might be looking at right now, that's a frequency. 430 trillion cycles per second. Your brain receives that wave and creates the experience of red. Sound works exactly the same way. Waves travel through air, hit your eardrum, convert to electrical signals, and your brain creates what you experience as sound. Two completely different senses. Same fundamental process. Waves, interpreted. Now zoom in further. Those objects producing the waves, also vibrating. Everything is, down to the smallest building blocks of matter. Atoms, electrons, subatomic particles, all in constant motion. Never still, ever. Quantum physics calls this zero-point energy, the irreducible vibration that exists in everything, everywhere, always. Your hand, resting right now, appears completely still, but at the subatomic level, it is anything but. Scientists using atomic force microscopes can now actually observe individual atoms vibrating in real time. Nothing in the universe is truly still. So how do we measure something so invisible? A German physicist named Heinrich Hertz gave us the answer. By proving that energy moves in waves and cycles, he gave science a unit of measurement that carries his name to this day. 1 Hertz, 1 complete cycle of vibration per second. When Hertz made that discovery, he had no idea that one day his name would be attached to the frequencies used in healing practices around the world. 1 Hertz, 1 complete cycle per second. That's all it is. Alpha brainwaves, typically between 8 and 12 Hertz, are associated with calm focus, creativity, and a relaxed state of awareness. Gamma brainwaves are associated with concentration, learning, and peak cognitive performance. Part 2. The vagus nerve. Now, we need to talk about a nerve. Not just any nerve, the longest, the most complex, the most influential nerve in the human body, the vagus nerve. The name itself comes from the Latin word for wandering, and wander it does, originating in the brainstem, traveling down through the neck, branching into the heart, the lungs, the digestive system, all the way into the abdomen. It connects your brain to almost every major organ in your body. It is your body's primary internal communication highway. To understand why it matters so deeply, you need to understand 2 states your nervous system lives between. The first, fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system activation. Your body under threat. Heart rate surges. Breathing shortens. Muscles tighten. Stress hormones flood the bloodstream. Digestion slows or stops entirely. Every available resource redirects toward survival. This response once kept humans alive. Ironically, modern life may be doing the same job. Not predators, not physical danger, traffic, deadlines, financial pressure, difficult relationships, notifications. The nervous system cannot distinguish between a lion in the wild and an overflowing inbox. To the body, stress is stress, and for many people, it never fully switches off. Ever. And that is where the damage begins. The second state, rest and digest. Full baby, heavy eyes, slowly surrendering into sleep. This is your body in safety. Heart rate slows. Breathing deepens. Digestion resumes. Muscles release tension. Stress hormones drop. Inflammation reduces. The body shifts into repair, restoration, and regeneration. This is where healing happens. The vagus nerve is the primary switch between these two states. Its functions are extraordinary. It regulates heart rate, controls breathing rhythm, influences digestion, modulates inflammation throughout the body, plays a direct role in emotional regulation, mood, memory, and even our capacity for social connection. Vagal tone, the strength and responsiveness of your vagus nerve, is now considered one of the most important markers of overall health and resilience. High vagal tone means your nervous system moves fluidly between activation and rest. It recovers quickly from stress. It regulates emotion effectively. It keeps inflammation in check. Low vagal tone is associated with chronic anxiety, depression, digestive issues, inflammation, and cardiovascular risk. In other words, the health of this one nerve influences almost every aspect of how you feel, every single day. Researchers exploring clinical vagal stimulation have worked primarily with 40 Hz, the gamma frequency. The same frequency linked to groundbreaking Alzheimer's research at MIT. Within sound healing practice, 528 Hz has emerged as the frequency most associated with nervous system restoration and emotional calm. 528 Hz, known in sound healing communities as the frequency of love. And perhaps that's not as abstract as it sounds. Because what love does, at its most fundamental, is make us feel safe. And safety is exactly what the vagus nerve is listening for. We'll explore 528 Hz fully in our next video. And if you've ever felt deeply settled by the sound of Om, many sound practitioners work with a frequency known as 136.1 Hz, the cosmic Om frequency, landing directly on the parasympathetic nervous system like a hand on the shoulder. So, now that you know exactly what the vagus nerve is, what it controls, what happens when it's chronically dysregulated, and how humming can resolve that, can you stimulate your own vagus nerve? Yourself. Right now. For free. The answer is yes. And it starts with something so simple. Most people have done it today without even realizing. Part 3. What humming actually does. So back to our mother and her baby. That simple hum what is actually happening inside her body in that moment. 3 things, simultaneously. The first, mechanical vibration. When you hum, your vocal cords vibrate, and they sit in extraordinary proximity to the vagus nerve. That vibration doesn't just create sound, it physically stimulates the nerve directly beside it. Not metaphorically, not indirectly, physically. The vagus nerve responds to the mechanical stimulus of vibrating tissue right beside it. Like a tuning fork held next to another, the resonance transfers. You are stimulating your own vagus nerve. Vagus nerve pathway, lighting up from throat, branching down through heart, lungs, abdomen, like electricity traveling a wire from the inside. The second, forced prolonged exhalation. Most people don't realize this. Your heart rate naturally speeds up slightly when you inhale and slows when you exhale. This is called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. It is completely normal and completely powerful. Humming forces something specific, a long, slow, controlled exhalation to sustain the sound. That prolonged exhale directly lowers heart rate. It downregulates the sympathetic nervous system. Remember fight or flight, switching off, and activates the parasympathetic response. Rest and digest, switching on simply by breathing. The third, and perhaps the most surprising, nitric oxide. In 2002, researchers Weitzberg and Lundberg published findings in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine that stopped the scientific community in its tracks. Humming creates a unique, oscillating airflow through the nasal passages. That oscillation increases nitric oxide production by 15-fold, 15 times, compared to quiet exhalation. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator. It relaxes blood vessel walls, lowers blood pressure, improves oxygen circulation throughout the entire body. One simple act, 3 profound mechanisms: vagal stimulation, parasympathetic activation, nitric oxide production, all happening simultaneously. Every time you hum. Weitzberg E. Lundberg Yon. American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, 2002. Part 4. The practice. Now that you know exactly what the vagus nerve is, what it controls, what happens when it's chronically imbalanced or dysregulated, and how humming can resolve that, let's actually do this. Right now. You don't need an instrument. You don't need training. You don't need a special room. You don't need anything. Sit comfortably. Feet flat on the floor if you can. Hands resting gently. Close your eyes. Take one slow breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, hum. Hum gently, for as long as feels comfortable, without force, starting with 15 to 30 seconds at a time. Not a performance, not a perfect note, not loud, just a gentle, sustained hum on the out-breath. Feel the vibration in your lips, in your throat, in your chest. That vibration you feel right now, that is your vagus nerve responding. Your parasympathetic nervous system switching on. Your stress hormones beginning to drop. So just hum. Do this for 2 minutes continuously. What you are creating in those 2 minutes has a name: physiological shift. The measurable transition from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance, from fight or flight to rest and digest, not through medication, not through effort, not through years of practice, through vibration, your own voice, your own body, doing exactly what it was designed to do. Like the sleeping baby, calm, full, safe. Part 5, the benefits. So what just happened? Scientifically, measurably, inside your body. Let's look at what the research actually shows. First, heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV is the variation in time between each heartbeat. It may sound counterintuitive, but a higher variability is actually what you want. It indicates a nervous system that is responsive, resilient, and adaptable. Low HRV is associated with chronic stress, burnout, and cardiovascular risk. Regular humming practice increases HRV. Your heart literally becomes more resilient. Second, cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Humming physically blunts its production, not metaphorically, but measurably. The prolonged exhalation, the vagal stimulation, the nitric oxide cascade, all working together to reduce the very hormone that keeps your nervous system locked in fight or flight. Third, and perhaps most compelling, clinical research on Bhramari pranayama, the traditional yogic humming breath, published in peer-reviewed literature, shows that humming lowers the body's acute stress index more effectively than even passive resting, more effectively than simply lying down and doing nothing. Two minutes of humming outperforms rest, and the research backs it up completely. Bhramari pranayama, Stress Index Study, National Center for Biotechnology Information. So to summarize what 2 minutes of humming actually does. It stimulates your vagus nerve directly. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It increases nitric oxide production by 15-fold. It raises your heart rate variability. It lowers cortisol, and it reduces your acute stress index more effectively than rest. 6 measurable physiological responses from your own voice, for free, available to you right now, anywhere, anytime. A mother hums softly to her crying baby. The baby calms, almost instantly. We called that normal. Now you know exactly why. The vagus nerve lighting up, stress hormones dropping, nitric oxide flooding the nasal passages, parasympathetic nervous system switching on, rest and digest, all from a hum. Your ancestors knew this instinctively. Science is simply catching up. In our next video, we go deeper. 528 Hertz. The frequency of love. What the research actually says. What it does to the nervous system. And why millions of people around the world are inexplicably drawn to it. Until then, keep humming, even if just for 2 minutes. Your vagus nerve is waiting. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more wellness insights for everyday living.